It's an incredible feeling when you realize the one thing you trust with your life, your money, has just spit in your face. It's that moment when you look at a problem and you just know, with every fiber of your being, that the people responsible will never face a single consequence. But what if you could change that? What if you had the perfect weapon, hidden in plain sight, to deliver a truly devastating blow? This is a story of how I brought a credit union to its knees with $3 and an army of Russian bots. If you've ever felt that gut punch of injustice and wanted to fight back, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. My name is Alex, and my journey into this financial nightmare began with a simple choice. Like many, I'd heard the big banks were all the same, cold, impersonal, and a little bit predatory. So I decided to go local. I found a small credit union, the kind of place that prides itself on being community-focused, personally invested, and all those other warm, fuzzy terms. It felt good, like I was making a smart, responsible choice. For a while, it was fine. The tellers knew my name, the coffee was always on, and I felt a genuine sense of security. Then came the day it all fell apart. I was at an ATM trying to pull out some cash, and my card just didn't work. Insufficient funds. The screen flashed. But I knew that was impossible. Panic, cold and sharp, immediately shot through my veins. Had I been robbed? Was my account compromised? I rushed inside, my heart thumping against my ribs. A friendly-looking clerk named Brenda, her name tag pinned neatly to her blouse, listened as I explained the problem. She furrowed her brow and pecked at her keyboard, a soft clatter in the quiet space. Please, let this be a simple mistake. A server error. Anything but a nightmare. Brenda eventually looked up, a reassuring smile on her face. Oh, I see what's happening. Our systems are a little slow today. We've got to work around. Just enter the special code, and it'll manually process a cash withdrawal from your account. She gave me the code, and just like that, the ATM spit out my money. Relief, warm and soothing, washed over me. Everything was fine. Just a little hiccup. That feeling of relief, that brief moment of security, it was an illusion. The next day, I woke up to a financial ghost town. Every card I owned, every single one linked to that account, was declined. My entire life had come to a screeching halt. My rent was due. My car payment was due. All the digital transactions I had set up for months, all those auto debits that kept my life running smoothly, were suddenly frozen. I called the bank immediately. I was ready for an apology, a fast solution, a human being who would fix their error. What I got instead was a different kind of voice, a disembodied, condescending voice on the other end of the line. Your account is under review, the voice said, as if it were reciting a script. There was an accounting error. We're just verifying things. Verifying what? My money? That's my money. It's right there in plain sight. What is there to verify? I tried to explain the situation, to remind them I wasn't in overdraft, that this was their fault, not mine. But every word I spoke was met with a dismissive sigh, a patronizing tone, or a snarky comment. And it wasn't just my frustration that was dismissed. It was me. The snarky comments got personal. A few times, they hinted that my foreign-sounding last name might be a part of the issue. My blood ran cold. The betrayal I felt was like a physical punch. This wasn't just a bank error. This was a personal attack. I wasn't just a customer anymore. I was a problem. A name they didn't like. A person they didn't respect. My initial panic turned into a simmering white-hot rage. For weeks, I was trapped in this bureaucratic hell. I would call, my hands shaking with frustration, only to be met with the same condescending tone. I felt like a ghost, completely powerless. I couldn't access my money, and I couldn't get a single person to listen to me. I called my family back home, desperate to vent. I told them everything, the injustice, the disrespect, the feeling of being completely ignored. My younger cousin, a digital native and a genius at finding clever solutions to unconventional problems, listened patiently. I have an idea, he said, his voice full of mischief. Have you ever heard of the Russian bot farm services? I had no idea what he was talking about. He explained it to me, a website that, for a few dollars, would pay people in Russia a tiny amount of money, a few rubles per post, to spam social media with whatever message you wanted. My mind started a race. My cousin's idea wasn't just a solution. It was an act of pure, unadulterated payback. It was poetic. It was beautiful. It was cheap. I went to the website. It was surprisingly professional, with options to choose between American-looking profiles and other locales. I was almost laughing. This was it. This was my moment. I spent the most well-spent $3 of my entire life. I typed up a short, concise, and damning complaint. I used a bit of AI to make it sound like a dozen different people, each with a different variation on the same theme. This bank is locking people's money for no reason. Beware! And this credit union has the worst customer service I've ever seen. And then with a single click, I hit go. Within minutes, the flood began. First, a trickle, then a torrent. The credit union's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages were absolutely swamped. Hundreds of complaints, all from different profiles, but all with the same furious energy. I watched it unfold in real time, a grin spreading across my face. I could almost hear the frantic shouts of their social media manager. This wasn't just a few negative reviews. This was a full-scale digital insurgency. It was chaos. Beautiful, glorious chaos. Then my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. Hesitantly, I answered. The voice on the other end was different. It wasn't the condescending, snarky tone I was used to. It was the call center manager. His voice was laced with an almost desperate politeness. Mr. Alex, he started, a hint of genuine anxiety in his voice. I am so sorry for the frustration you've been experiencing. We understand there's been a mistake. He sounded completely different. The wall they had built, the one I had been banging my head against for weeks, had completely crumbled. We are ready to not only transfer your full balance, but we'd also like to offer you a $50 compensation for your trouble. We just want to end this on a positive note. I almost laughed out loud. He knew what was happening. He knew the complaints were connected to me. Somehow, but he couldn't prove it. The revenge was sweet. So sweet. I felt a rush of vindication, a complete emotional release. The powerlessness I had felt for weeks was gone, replaced by a profound sense of triumph. I agreed to the transfer, and just like that, the nightmare was over. They got a clean break. The problem was solved. They probably even thought they were smart, ending things with a token compensation to make me go away. Little did they know, there was one tiny detail. I couldn't tell the Russian bots to remove their posts. That was going to be someone else's problem now. The most powerful revenge isn't always about a grand, dramatic confrontation. Sometimes it's a silent, clever attack that leaves your tormentor bewildered and powerless. It's about fighting disrespect with wit and turning your frustration into a powerful weapon. If this story gave you chills, do me a favor and smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed or carried out? And of course, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on more stories like this one. Until next time, stay sharp and always fight for what's right.